Hey everybody, this is Bonnie with Bonnie Bay Crochet, and welcome to Friday Fun. Well, last week we had an extremely generous audience, and you all pushed us over the $100 limit. In fact, the donations went up to $140 last week, which is amazing. So I was able to, on our behalf, to donate $140 to Show Hope, and I do have a link in the video description below so that you can check out this organization that helps families with adoption expenses, also with medical expenses for adopted children. So I think it's a great organization. Please check it out when you get a chance. But because of that, I'm going to do a silly song with you. I'm going to borrow from a song written many years ago by John Lennon and Paul McCartney, early times in the Beatles. So I think you're going to recognize this. So hopefully you can understand what I'm trying to do. Didn't do a lot of practicing this week, so might be a little bit rusty, but we're going to, without further ado, I'm going to give it a try. You're gonna lose that hook. You're gonna lose that hook. If you don't put that into this case, you'll never see it again. It will slip into the couch and that will be the end. You're gonna lose that hook. You're gonna lose that hook. If you don't put it back right now, you're gonna find it gone. We know it's your favorite book and it's the only one. You're gonna lose that hook. You're gonna lose that hook. You're gonna lose. I'll make a point of putting it away for you. That's what I'll do. The way you lose these, what else can I do? This is the part of the song where we wonder where all the hooks have gone and try real hard not to cry over that really expensive one. You're gonna lose that hook. You're gonna lose that hook. You're gonna lose that hook. All right. Well, I hope that's not your story today. I hope you're not losing that real expensive Furls hook or so. I'm going to go ahead and put this aside. Put it in a nice and safe place so I don't accidentally kick it over. All right. Whew. Oh, it's always fun to try that, and it's always really fun when it's done. Still get nervous. Let me go ahead and put this aside. So thank you, Paul McCartney, John Lennon, for letting me borrow that song. I'm sure I'm going to get a notice on YouTube. But anyway, let me go ahead and say hey to everybody. Wow, lots of people. We have, is it Thrisses in Stitches? I hope I'm saying that right. Says, hi there. Hope you're doing fabulously. I'm so glad that you're joining us. I don't recognize that name before, but welcome. We love new people. Denise says, hi, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well today. Thank you, Denise. Yeah, I'm real excited today. I've got my car loaded outside, ready to go. As soon as I'm done here and finish eating, I'm heading up to Frederick to the fairgrounds to set up for the Fiber Festival tomorrow. I don't like to be rushing in at like 6 o'clock in the morning and fighting for a place to try to park the car, to unload and everything. I like to do it in the day before. So I'm going to do that today so I can do it in a nice, relaxed fashion. Yeah, it makes for 2 trips for me, but I don't care. I just like having the peace of mind that comes with just knowing it's set up. And so all I got to do is walk in tomorrow morning, take a couple of sheets off of our stuff, and then go. Nancy asks, have you ever bought an expensive hook that you can't stand? Yes. And I did it for you guys, actually. I bought a I'm a Susan Bates fan, as you know, it's just in my blood at this point since I started using those at like 7 years old. I did buy their interchangeable hook set. Do I have that nearby or did I give it away? I think I gave it away to somebody who actually could use it. It's one of those interchangeable ones with the big ugly handle. I'm sorry if that's offensive to anybody. And if you like it and it works for you, that's fantastic. I did a review on this. So I bought it in order to do a review video for you guys to evaluate it. Um, yeah, I paid way too much. I think over $40 for the set. Actually, there was another set that I bought. It's in my storage over there. It's actually a lot nicer, but I found that I don't enjoy those. I just like the good old-fashioned, soft hooks that I have from Susan Bates. Excuse me, I'm looking for one to show you. That's why I'm distracted here. I don't have them. They're all in the other room. Are they over there? No, they're not. But anyway, I am boring in the way I like certain hooks. Once I find something that I love, I just stick with it. So that's just the way I rock and roll. But I do think a lot of those hooks out there are just absolutely gorgeous and way overpriced, in my opinion. But I grew up in a blue collar home where pennies counted. So forgive me if that's offensive. But if you guys enjoy those, I think more power to you. That's fine. If I could use them, I would. I just put my money in other places. All right. Archer Nays, good to see you here. She said, yeah, I wish this had closed captioning. Um, I don't know that you can get it live or not. I don't know if the algorithm does that. I'm not sure if I need to do something to activate that. And if I did, I'm not sure how accurate it's going to be. But Phil did suggest maybe hitting that the little gear shaped icon and see if you can get that setting. Yeah, the settings cogwheels, what he calls it. That's a good name for it, Phil. Thank you. And maybe it will come up. I don't know if YouTube is up to doing that at this point in time. All right. And Phil says he greetings from Taylorsville, North Carolina. Loading here now, then I'm off to Kenosha, Wisconsin. Oh wow. Well, Phil, if you're anywhere near South Carolina in the next 2 weeks, let me know. I will be heading down there for a couple of weeks. And if you get to the Myrtle Beach area, let me know. I will buy you lunch, my friend. Um, so yeah, let me know. Although I hope you don't have to drive in the Myrtle Beach traffic because that can be really, really busy. Hannah is sending me some questions. Nancy asked, have you ever bought, okay, I already read, okay, I did that one. Yeah. Yes, Nancy. Yeah, I already answered that one. The expensive hook. And from Mickey Waters, have you ever bought a cheapy set of hooks that you just love? Yeah. I live on cheapy hooks. Susan Bates. I mean, whether they're plastic or if I can't get the ones with the black handle on them, I use the other ones. Not a problem at all. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, cheapy hooks are fine. They do make good substitutes. Uh, yeah, good questions there, ladies and gentlemen. Um, all right, let's keep on going. Hey, Susan Beast, good to have you in the chat, and Wanda Gordon, as always, so glad that you're doing well. She says, praying everyone's doing well. And I'm keeping my little grandson today. Oh my goodness. Well, Wanda, you got your exercise cut out for you, I'm guessing. I know if I was watching my grandson, either one of them, I would be busy. um, if nothing else, just getting up and down from sitting on the floor is enough work for me, keeping up with these little guys. And Rita, good to have you. She says, lovely sunny day in South Jersey. We're celebrating Earth Week at my college. Hey, that's cool. Yeah, we're not too far from you guys, just maybe 2.5, 3 hours from Jersey. And yeah, the sun is beautiful. The weather has taken a little bit of a dip it was really warm and then it's a little bit on the cool side. And I'm glad though for that because tomorrow I'll be standing out at the fairgrounds. It's enclosed in a fairgrounds building, but they're not air conditioned or anything. So it'll be on the cooler side, which is good because that means I'll be able to wear my crochet things as I stand or sit at my crochet booth. So I'm looking forward to that. That reminds me, I need to add chairs to my list of things to put in my car so I have a way to sit down tomorrow. And we have our Alaskan friend Barbie says, "Good morning. Tons of snow here still. Vegetable and flower seedlings looking great. Spent all winter learning your designs. Bought some wool to start doing them in wool. Yay. Daylight now, 5:30 to 10 p.m. Wow." That would be really hard to go to bed at night if the sun is still, if it's still bright out at 10 p.m., being in that the upper part of the hemisphere like that. And DC wants to know if I have anything new coming up. Um, I have some fun things to show you. I don't have a brand new design coming this week. I do have a technique that you've seen before that is coming. Let me go ahead and share that to you. And in case you missed it last week, the soap sacks are now available on my channel. But they're more than that, though. These little bags can be used for just about whatever you want to put in them. I don't know that I'd put change or money in them because you don't want to lose anything. But little bags of like potpourri, or they're designed to fit bars of soap. But those bars of soap don't just have to be used in a shower or bathing situation. You could put scented items, soap or what have you, in here, and then use this as a sachet, for your clothing drawers. Um, so these have a lot of fun uses. The pattern, I'm making it available. But I did send this out as a free pattern in my newsletter this week. If you're not signed up for my newsletter, you can look at the video description below. You can just go to my website, bonniebay.com or bonniebaycrochet.com. Both of them will get you to the same place. And you can sign up for my newsletter. It's free. I try to send it out about between 2 to 4 times a month. If I do it more than that, that's a miracle. I'm not a spam bot. I don't sell your information to any other sources. I promise. I don't do that. I don't make my money that way. I like to sleep at night. I treasure my privacy where I can, and I want to respect yours. So just to let you know, but I did include this in the newsletter. And the newsletter has a lot of the things that we talk about here, and then some extras as well. I'm starting to put kind of old blog post in there, things kind of like a blast from the past, because a lot of you may not have been following when I first started out. I'm trying to think when I started my website. It's been at least 12 years. So if you haven't been around all that time, not a problem. So the old stuff will look new to you. So that's kind of why I'm doing that, and just drawing attention to some of the things going on there. I also have a link in the video description to some summer sweaters that you can make. And this is a sweater that I made using the bamboo yarn. It's I have a bag of it over there. I'm not going to bother with it, but it's a universal pop sock bamboo cotton blend yarn. The original pattern was made in fingering weight. Both of these yarns are fingering weight. Was made as a winter sweater with long sleeves. I just remade it without the sleeves, and then just worked a short trim around the sleeves in lieu of a sleeve. So I do have a list, though, in the video description of several different styles of sweaters, summer tops that you can make using cotton and are actually quite comfortable. Hannah keeps sending me these great questions. Okay, Phil says to put some rain gear on your trip. Yeah, I definitely will. Yeah, heading to South Carolina, it's like it's a wardrobe change for me. It's like dig out all your short sleeves, because I know it's been hot down there. And yeah, I do have a rain hat, and yeah, got it, Phil, got it. But tomorrow, the weather looks pretty good for the Frederick Fiber Fest. So if you're thinking about coming out to that, come say hi to me. I have some, I'm looking at them over here. I have some tape measures. I have some pens. So if you watch my channel and you follow what I do, please come say hi. You don't have to buy anything. I want to give you just a little fun thing. So that'll be at the Frederick Fairgrounds in Frederick, Maryland, tomorrow from 9 until 5. So please stop by. There are going to be at least, I think, 3 or 4 buildings full of vendors. There are going to be over 100 vendors there. I'll be selling my crochet books. I'll be selling some, I don't have any samples to show you because they're all packed in the car. I'll be selling some, let me just show you. Not selling this one, but you know, these samples that I make for my YouTube channel. Of course, I have a lot of beautiful things that I've made, if I'm allowed to say that. And I can't wear it all, and I don't even try. I just pick out my favorites, like we all do. And you know, things like this will be available for purchase, and they will not be astronomically priced. I promise you. In fact, I'm going to put like a 20 to 25% sale on everything that I have, because I do want to try to eliminate a lot of what I'm carrying around. I'm just trying to, you know, trying to downsize, just like maybe most of you all in my season of life. Um, and Hannah sent me another question: is the Aran cable jumper crochet pattern behind me, the one behind me, able to be made in unisex? Josie's fiance loves it. Yes, actually, I designed this particular sweater. I can't remember the name of it, but it's on my Lovecraft store. It's in my Lovecraft store. I think it's Bonnie's Aran Cable. Let me look it up. Let me look it up because and I'll get you the link. So give me a second here. Um. Oh, okay. Did you get the? Did you already get it, Hannah? Well, yeah, Bonnie's Aran Cable sweater. All right. Thank you, Hannah. Can you just put that in the chat for me, Hannah? Thank you. Yeah, Bonnie's Aran cable jumper. I sized that 2 different ways. I sized that in the numbers. You'd have to look at the graphics at the end of the pattern. But I sized that for both women and men because, you know, we're proportioned a little differently. And I know people don't want to admit that anymore, but it's true. So as a designer, I need to take that into consideration. And so I did follow the Craft Yarn Council of America um, sizing specifics as best I could for this sweater. So you can make this for either a man or a woman and size it according to their size. Okay, thank you, Hannah. You're doing a lot of work today, girly. All right, so let me go ahead and keep a going here. I'm not making very good progress, but I'm not trying to be too fast. I love to craft, waving right back at you, my friend. And Terry, so glad to see you joining us from Oregon. And Wendy from the yarn shop in Hagerstown. Hello there. I still need to get out there, but I'm going to be taking care of somebody in South Carolina for a couple weeks. So and then I might even head down to Georgia to visit my kids. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where I'm going to be from day to day sometimes, but I will have my yarn and my computer close at hand. So if you have any questions, you can always get me. As long as I'm not driving the car, I'm usually available. Okay. And Nancy says she's trying new stitches and is struggling. Do you have any advice on not becoming discouraged? Yeah, Nancy, you can just email me if you want, and I can see if I have any other uh, versions of videos of something that you're looking for. Just know that some of these stitches do have a learning curve, and some learning curves can be steeper than others depending on your skill level. And it's okay to make mistakes. And what I like to tell people in the live classes when I've taught at conferences is that it's just yarn. It's just yarn. And it's just like learning how to ride a bike, learning how to drive. The first few times don't always go so well. I have 2 grandchildren who are gonna be starting to walk very soon, and it's gonna take them a long time. It's taken I mean, they're both to the point where they can kinda push themselves across the floor now, and which is a huge deal, but at anyway, I'm going into way too much detail here, but it does take time to develop muscle memory, in the brain and with the hand. So, don't be discouraged. I would put it aside, maybe try it again a little bit, and then put it aside. Sometimes you're putting them in timeout, as people say, and then coming back to it later. You come back to it with a fresh perspective, maybe with better rest. If there's something in particular, email me and I'll see if I have any other, helpful hints on that. Like I know a lot of people struggle with the neural stitch, which is also called the reverse single crochet. And I've got a song about that one too, because some people just don't it's a hard stitch. I mean, it's not that it's hard, it's just that it's counterintuitive. It's doing everything in the opposite direction that you're used to. So yeah, I would just say give it some time and, do something different for a while and then come back to it and see if it's any better. But by all means, don't be shy about, emailing me. I do try to email as soon as I can. I don't just also be aware that I generally try to shut the computer down for the weekend, for Saturday and Sunday, just to have family time and to be undisturbed. Um, of course, for Sundays for worship and just having a planned time of rest. But yeah, but Monday through Friday, I try to make myself very reasonably available to everybody. Um, all right. Hey, Wanda Gordon, so glad that you could be with us. And thank you for encouraging the other folks there. And Shatika Woods, blessings and crochet. Back to you too, my friend. And Virginia, is it Inez? So good to have you with us. And Crochet Mama says, good morning from Southeast Missouri. And Terry Hess is with us and Crochet with Lulu. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lulu. That is so sweet of you. Thank you for encouragement. I'm guessing that's for the song, but and Terry Revens says, pray hello to everyone and pray all are well, doing well. Yes. And thank you, Barbie. You're so sweet. And Wanda Gordon, thank you for the heart. And Wendy and Red Hook, thank you guys. Um, yeah, and yeah, Phil, you be careful out there too, okay? I know you're always busy. I cannot imagine all the traveling that you do. I do enough. I do enough. I just had a lot of comments load, so it just shows me just how far behind I am. We have Cynthia Dalton in our chat. Happy Friday, everyone. I'm getting excited about my trip to the Ark next week. Ooh, I guess that's the Ark experience in Kentucky, I believe. I have not seen it, but I've heard it is really, really cool. Just hope we don't need an Ark anytime soon. um, yeah, let me back up, back up, back up. And we have Mickey Waters from Florida. Wow, my home state. I want to go back home to Florida at some point. Just don't see it anytime on the calendar. And we have Cynthia from Illinois. Thank you guys for your encouragement. I'm getting back. I'm so slow. Just getting back to the encouragement from the song. Thank you, thank you. I'm well aware of my non-professionalism as far as being prepared for things like this, but there's no reason. Life is too short to worry about stuff like that. To have fun is more important. And Virginia said, "Yep, I lost my hook and had some stolen." Ugh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Oh, sorry that happened to you, Virginia. Um, and let's see. We have Grace says, "Thanks for this." Oh, thank you, Grace. My pleasure. And Cecilia, thank you for your encouragement. Um, all right. And Virginia says she's from Bagod. I'm not sure who you're referring to there, Virginia, but I know who Bagode is. Um, haven't met her yet, but I would like to. And then Rita says, new puppy loves to chew my new hooks. Oh, no. Sounds like Rita needs to put it into the case and put it away. Don't let puppies chew on those things. Won't have any. They'll snag the yarn. And
Good evening to you, um, Patty, and um, and Diane and Norma. Um, she says, "Yay, Susan Bates." And then is it Rika Life? Just they love Susan Bates too. And listen, and just to let you all know, it's fine. It's usually whatever you start with, you like. I think that's part of it. But yeah, I'm a Susan Bates fan. But yeah, I play nice with everybody. I mean, it's just a hook, right? But yeah, I just yeah, it's hard for me to do a lot with the other because Susan Bates are called. For those of you who aren't familiar, there is a video that I did on. It was called "Which is the fastest crochet hook?" And I tried a number of different hooks, and of course the one that I liked the best was the fastest. But what I also found out that with the different style of hooks, you end up with different gauges with your work. So if you switch the brand, like if you go from an inline to a tapered hook, and I explain what all that means in the video. If you switch between the two, your stitches will be different sizes, so do be aware of that. It does matter, but what matters most of all is comfort in your hand. Whatever minimizes the motion of your hand as you create those stitches, that's the hook you want to go with. If it's a Susan Bates or a boy hook or a Furls or whatever brand it is, you want the one that's gonna preserve your hands, to preserve, uh, your body as you crochet. And remember, stand up every so often. Don't go for 3 hours without moving, because you might end up in the doctor's office with many more problems. um, so make sure you take care of your body, and that's where the hooks come in. It's just whichever hook that works for you, that that is the best on your hands and arms. That's what I recommend. Oh, thank you, Dorothy Bush, for your kind comment. Hannah's so sweet to send it to me. Thank you. Um, and thank you, Terry, for wishing Phil, safe travels. That is really kind of you. Um, we do wish that for you, Phil. And Wanda, if you're watching, Wanda is another, we have Wanda out there, another truck driver extraordinaire, bringing us all the things that we need. Oh, and by the way, I noticed this morning, it's not going to affect Phil for a long, long time, if he ever comes to Baltimore. But ships, I think the first ship just just yesterday or this morning passed through uh, that area where the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed, which is 40 minutes or so away from where I live. But the first ship was finally able to get through. It's only like a 35-foot channel that they've made. It's a temporary thing, but it looks like they are making some progress as far as the ships being able to get out of the harbor. They've been cooped up in the harbor all this time. So some progress is being made. It'll be a long, long time before that bridge is made. So Phil and Wanda and whomever are driving those trucks are going to have to take the long way around because they're not allowed to go through the tunnels. So anyway, just a side note there. And Grace, thanks for checking on Hannah. She's just about done with that. And Norma says, I agree. If it's expensive, doesn't mean it's good. It depends on what you like. It depends on what works for you. If it's expensive, but if it doesn't work for you, then it's not a good investment. But if it's expensive and it's just the absolute best thing for your, the ergonomics of, your hand motion and everything, then it's a good investment. So yeah, it's gotta work. It's like buying a real expensive pair of shoes and then they hurt your feet. I've done that more than I'd like to think about. Um, and Christine says hello to us from Ohio. And Barbie says she's a Susan Bates fan, bought and wasted money also. Now, just Susan Bates, simple hooks for me. Yeah, they work. They work. And you're all the way up in Alaska, so I guess I don't know how much, how many things are available to you unless you just have to ship everything there. Not sure how that works. We have Betty in our chat. It says Susan Bates, all steel here. They were my grandmother's and still work great for me. Wow. Wow, that is cool. And yeah, Virginia said Lion brand hooks aren't too bad. Yeah, actually, Lion brand hooks, a lot of them are inline hooks, which are similarly designed like these Susan Bates. So it's like if it's an inline hook, it doesn't matter what the brand is. I can use it. In fact, I won a crochet contest with a Lion brand plastic inline hook. Um, had a hard time with one that was a tapered hook. The next year they gave us tapered hooks to work with. I didn't do as well. But give me an inline hook and look out. We're going to town. And from Terry Redmond says, have you tried Hobby Lobby hooks? It seems some of the cheapest hooks are great. I find that when crocheting an Afghan, this hook is lighter and less joint stress. Hey, that's great. I do have some of the ones that you're talking about. Um, they work okay. Again, but part of the thing for me is my personal style is my muscle memory is just like a rock and set with the hooks that I use. But I have tried them. They are kind of in between. They're not tapered. They're kind of inline hooks, but they have a larger like nose or head to the hook, if I'm making sense. The part that's the hook part is just a little bit wider than what I'm used to. I can use them fine. It's just that they do slow me down just a little bit. Again, just creatures of habit here. That's me. It's not the hook. It's me, in what I said. But yeah, those are some great hooks, and they have really nice, grippy, beautifully designed handles as well. The other thing is I don't have a Hobby Lobby near me. I have to wait till I go to South Carolina to visit one, and even there I have to drive 45 minutes to get to it. So it's not as convenient for me. And welcome to our chat, Betty. And okay, and Phil says he seldom gets. Thanks for the offer, but I seldom get to Myrtle Beach. Yeah, that's fine. It's not exactly probably industry related like you would probably be traveling to. But yeah, if you ever get down there, or even to the Maryland Gaithersburg area, give look send me an email. Send me an email and see if we can connect. Um, and Barbara says, hello, everyone. Praying for all. Watching my granddaughter also. Okay. Yeah, that's great. And Jane, welcome. Yeah, she says, hooray, caught the live. Yay. And let's see. All right. And Cynthia says, got all my stuff to bravely attempt the knit baby blanket. Yeah. Well, take it slow, Cynthia, and enjoy the ride. I mean, take it slow. There's no rush. Maybe that's the design that helps to set your muscle memory for the knitting part. Um, yeah, I'll get to that question in a minute, Hannah. Thank you for sending that to me. Um, Actually, let me go ahead and answer it now so I don't forget. Nancy sends a question, wants to know what's my preferred yarn. Whew. I did make a video. I'm going to just refer you to a video from several weeks ago. If you go to my homepage, just look at favorite yarns. Just do put that in the little spyglass search area, or if you just hit videos, it'll come up in one of the more recent videos. And I talked about my 10 top yarns, and I kind of put that in quotes, at the moment, like at the making of this video, these are my top 10 yarns. And I will say that I really had a hard time narrowing it down to only 10. And a lot of those too are item related, like depending on the design, my preference is different for what I'm making. If I'm making a sweater, if I'm making a scarf, making a shawl, um, making an Afghan, making a baby blanket, I have preferences galore, even in each of those subcategories. So I can't really say there's, and then when you do watch the video, it's not listed in numerical, from the least to the greatest. It's not ordered in that way. There's no specific order. So just to let you know, I would just check that out, because I tried to do a thorough job on explaining, some of my favorites. But again, that's always subject to change. I'm going to be going to a fiber festival tomorrow. I'm going to be selling some of my books there, but I'm also going to be walking around at some point and probably meeting new favorite yarns at the fiber festival. So I'm always on the lookout for something new. In fact, there's a I don't have a sample of it here, but I didn't list it in my favorite yarn video. But last time I went to Pittsburgh to the Pittsburgh Fiber Arts Festival, which I'm teaching there again this year, yay, in August. So um, look at your August calendar. There is a link in the video description for the Pittsburgh Fiber Festival. You can click on that. You can see the classes I'm going to be teaching, and yes, some of them are new. And anyway, I went anyway, check that out. You can learn about that coming up in August. But last year I met a new yarn. It's 100% fingering weight rayon yarn that I used to make a spring sweater, which is a lot of fun to make. There's a video for that. But it just having rayon as an option it just opens up a whole new realm of possibilities. So there's lots and lots, and I haven't even scratched the surface hardly of what is total. I mean, the amounts of yarn, thousands of types of yarns, just the all the different breeds of animals that are, their wool that is used to make yarns. I mean, that's seemingly endless. So lots and lots and lots of possibilities there. But check out that video if you can. Let me see. And so, okay, Barbie saying, love soap sacks, nice posit pomanders, if I'm saying that right. Yeah. And Virginia says she used to make them for my eyeglasses. Ooh, yeah, you could do that. Talking again about the soap sacks, you can just make these a little bit longer, and that would be a great way to put your sunglasses. Maybe I should do that for my sunglasses so they don't get all dinged in the car. I usually just leave them on the deck there so that leave them in the car so that I can wear them. Excuse me. All right, and we have Rose Garland Creations. Okay, Catherine. Oh, thank you so much for your encouragement. That's a good question, Hannah. She sent me a question. How do people find out about fiber festival locations? That's a good question. Because not all the festivals do a great job of advertising. And when they do advertise, it's just during the times of the year when they're having the festivals. I would just do a Google search online in your area. Just put in Fiber Festival and then your location or your state and see what pops up. I didn't even know about the one here in my home state till about 10 years ago. And it's one of the biggest in the country, the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, which will be next Saturday and Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think. But anyway, and I'm not going to be able to attend that one. I thought I was going to be able to, but it turns out that I'm going to be doing something else. I'm going to be serving my family in a different way. So, but if you all are in the Maryland area and haven't been to the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, it's huge. It's, bring good, comfortable shoes. If you need to sit down a lot, bring a portable chair because there's not going to be any place for you to sit except on the grass. I believe there's a $15 entrance fee, 11, or I think it's $15 fee now to get in. It used to be free. It's no longer. So I believe the Frederick Fiber Festival is free tomorrow. That is free. Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival is not. The Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, I think, is going to have probably over 350 or so. I think that's the number I saw somewhere, over 350 vendors. They're going to have a lot of stuff going on there. Again, if you go to that one, bring your walking shoes. If you're looking for something smaller, the Frederick Fiber Festival tomorrow in Maryland. Easy parking. Yeah, easy parking. You don't have to walk a mile from the, from the parking lot like you will at the Sheep and Wool. So just keep that in mind. Is it wheelchair friendly? Great question. The Maryland Shape and Wool Festival, I think for the most part it is, as long as you get someone to drop you off at the entrance. Otherwise, getting from the far reaches of the parking lot is not wheelchair friendly. I think it is for the most part. No steps or anything. Again, it's a fairgrounds. It's an outdoors. If it starts to rain, which it did 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago when I was signing books there, it was just a torrential downpour. Um, so you need to make sure you bring rain gear if you're going to be outside. Otherwise, you have to cram um, into the buildings with probably 1,000 other people, and that may not be what you want to do, especially if you are in the high risk category for flu and COVID and whatnot. Um, the the Frederick Fiber Festival is not nearly as crowded, so it you would be fine there. Everything is, on one level. There are no steps or anything. Very wheelchair friendly, I think. Again, it's closer together, so you don't have as far to have to deal with. And there's going to be food trucks there. There's going to be activities for children, I'm told. I don't know what that looks like, but each year it has expanded and it has expanded again. So I'm really, really happy about that. But as far as finding other, locations, just do Google searches and ask your fiber friends that you may know, um, with where they have gone. And I know these things pop up everywhere. Okay. Alana, I'm so glad you're here. She says, sorry, I'm late. Not a problem, my dear. Will stay as long as I can. That is so sweet. She says, no bad news, just my presence needed at times. Good, good, good. Um, let's see here. Thank you, Hannah, again for putting these links in the chat. And Heather says, good morning. Joining a little late. The Frederick Fiber Festival is great. Sorry to miss it this year. I'm recovering from pneumonia. Ooh, upside, getting lots of crochet time in. Oh, I am so sorry to hear about that, Heather. I hope you recover from that completely. There'll be other fiber festivals. You don't need to worry about it. But get better. That's the important thing. And Sabina says, hi, Bonnie. I decided to incorporate beads on my shawl. It's very pretty, but beads are expensive here in Germany, and you don't get that many. Great to see you. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think. I know Michael's, our local Michael's, but you're in Germany, so I know there's probably not a Michael's there. But our Michael's and Joanne stores have a large selection, I think, of the small beads that are really nice for what you're doing, putting them on shawls. And they're not, I don't think they're all that expensive. Um, I wish I could help you with that. But shipping to Germany would defeat the whole purpose, because shipping internationally is so expensive. And Caroline Hart, glad to have you with us, my friend. And I see some Japanese hiragana in the chat. I'm just gonna say hi back to you. Hi. I'm trying to think. I was trying to think of some Japanese to respond with, but my brain is just not able to recall it. I do recognize those letters though, which is kind of cool because I used to have to write some of those. But that's been more than 33 years ago. So it's going back into the deep recesses of the brain. Oh, Phil says, have you guys seen that video making its way around of those knitters on the subway? Very cool camaraderie. Actually, I saw that this morning. That was so cool. It's on the red. If you're on Facebook, you can go to the Red Heart site on Facebook, and that's where I saw it. And I thought, yeah, that's really cool. Strangers meeting and just sitting down next to each other knitting. I think that's really cool. And it could be crochet too. I mean, doing the same with crochet. That is really nice. Yay. And Heather's doing well. Okay. And then Norma just had a bunch of things load at the same time. Sorry, guys. Here I am just so far behind. Um, there we go. Norma says, when I get discouraged, I watch videos over and over until I get it. Yeah, that works too. That works too. And Hannah wants me to show what I'm wearing. Well, let me go ahead and take this off. Um, this is coming soon. It's out with the editor. The video is about ready to go. This is my shawl. I'm calling it. Let's see if you can you see that? It's a triangular shawl, but I have it arranged with my stud buttons. I have more here from Jewel Designs, and yes, Jewel's going to be at the Frederick Fiber Festival and at the Maryland Sheep and Wool. So and she's going to be in Pittsburgh. Yay! I'll get to see her a couple times this year. So anyway, so this is it's an asymmetrical shawl, and I'm calling it if you can get the name on this, it's Quadro Triticale, which is a Star Trek word for a special type of blue wheat. If you all are Trekkies at all, let me go ahead and adjust this. If you all are Trekkies, do you remember the episode Trouble with Tribbles? Well, the wheat that they were transporting that the Tribbles got into, which again, the Tribbles are this little fictitious little fur ball of an animal. And if you want to learn how to make a tribble, I have a video on how to crochet a tribble actually on my site. You can just look that up and you can make your tribbles. But so no, and this has not been released yet. It will be released very soon. I'm hoping to roll this out in May. I was hoping to do it in April. Ran into some video glitches, which is why that red cardigan that I said I'm probably be April, but it's not going to be April. I lost some video footage on that one. Yeah, talk about a pain. So I'm having to redo some video before I can even write that pattern. So the cardigan, that red cardigan that I showed with cabling and stuff, I'm going to bump that to the fall because I'm going to need time to reassess, refilm parts of the sweater that's already connected. Okay, so I have to refilm some parts of the sweater so that I can have that available. But this, I'm hoping to roll this out in May, and the here we go. The cabling that it features, it is trimmed with the 2-stitch basket weave, and then I have the small wheat cable, the large wheat cable, and the small wheat cable. So I thought it'd be kind of fun with the Quadro Triticale. Some of you think, what is she saying? I know it's a crazy word, and when you see it written, it's even crazier. But hopefully, some people will understand the subtleness of it, because that was a wheat, and so this is a wheat stitch. So, and this color is blue, so kind of a blue wheat. Anyway, you can look it up online. You can look it up on Google, and they have full definition and everything, although it's totally a fictitious thing. So anyway, that will be coming again sometime in May is my goal. I'm again just waiting for this to come back from my tech editor. And my sister is also working on editing the closed captions so that they are accurate before we translate it into 11 other languages. Let me keep it going down here. And Barbie says, learning curve. The cable stitches I struggle with, I just do over and over and then frog it. I recently heard a crafty woman say, out of the head into the hands. That's interesting. Yeah, it just takes time to establish muscle memory in our hands and just to grasp new things. Oh wow, and Ramona says GM. Because GM. I'm sorry if I don't understand acronyms, but there's so many out there. It says GM from Anchorage, Alaska. Wow. So we have 2 people from Alaska in the chat side by side here. That's great. And oh, thank you, Carol, for your kind comment. Carol Beth in Oregon. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Dorothy. You're so sweet. And our Japanese friend says, purple snood was so lovely that I had to make one for you. I couldn't find the same kind of yarn in Japan. So I couldn't find any pretty purple yarn, but my beloved grandma was happy with the present. Oh, wow. Sweet. Oh, good morning. Thank you, Hannah. Sorry. Okay, good morning to you too. Sorry about that. I don't mean to be so dense. But there are so many acronyms where just people forgot. I, anyway, yeah, I just don't understand all. Um, oh, Mary wants to know what yarn did I use to make the shawl. All that information will be included, with the video and all. But I used there's a brand. It's a hand dyed brand by my friend Laura, who actually runs the Pittsburgh Knitting and Crochet Festival, and it's called Created for You by Laura. And I don't that's the name of her, I guess, the little business that she has selling yarn. And this is called the Knobby. It's a fingering weight knobby yarn. Um, okay, and Barbara sent a comment saying, I have seen headbands with a hair tie incorporated for stretch. I would love to see you do some with Irish crochet stitches like a braid. Hope this makes sense. Yeah, Barbara, it would be helpful if you could send me a picture of an example of what you mean. That would be great. Um, and from Nancy, how can people learn to design crochet projects? That's a great question. I actually have a couple of classes. I have two classes, one on designing uh, panel ponchos and one on designing scarves on the Watch channel. For those of you who aren't familiar, I put a little plug in for this. The Watch channel, there's a link in the video description below. It's a paid subscriber channel where you have viewing of most of the content on the YouTube, plus some exclusive content, plus some classes that I've recorded that will actually show you my design process, how I design things. Um, so that particular platform is $7.95 a month or $79.50 for a year, which is a little bit of a savings. When I release new designs, you do get the PDF complimentary. There are many PDFs available to be downloaded on the site. If you join today, you could download more than your money's worth right away. I also include with that monthly Zoom classes for those who want to participate with the live Zoom classes. We've got another one coming up May 9th or 10th. You can pick one of those 2 days. It's the same class both times. One will be April 9th. I'm sorry, we're in April. May 9th from 2 to 4 p.m., which is during the afternoon, or Friday, May 10th from 7 to 9 p.m. So it's called 3 Ways to Crochet Braided Cable. So I'm going to try to at least have one of those per month. As far as that's what the Wash channel is about. But getting back to your question about learn how to design, I think you just have to jump into the deep end of the pool and start swimming and just try it. Give it a try. As Miss Frizzle would say on the Magic School Bus, the kids show, make mistakes, get messy, have fun. That's kind of how I learned. Although I do encourage people before they want to just jump into designing, because I know there are a lot of people online who've maybe learned to crochet, very quickly, and then all of a sudden, oh, I want to design now, and they don't really have the skills of how to read through most crochet patterns. I would spend, I mean, if you're a seasoned crocheter and you know how to read patterns, that's not a problem at all for you. You're comfortable with the way they're written using the Craft Yarn Council or the standard way of saying things in patterns. And the reason I say that is there are patterns out there that are like 15, 20 pages long, and they don't need to be because they're not written in proper crochet language, if that makes sense. Um, so I would just, yeah, I mean, if you already know how to read,
a lot of crochet patterns. Now, suppose if you're someone out there who wants to design, but you're not familiar with reading, you struggle with reading crochet patterns, I would say that'd be number one thing to do is get some patterns and just read, 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 crochet, crochet, crochet. Try to understand what the pattern is saying by reading the crochet notation without YouTube. Or if like I have some books where you can do them together, where you can see the project coming together, but you can also read through the written words as well. I just think it's really important to have a grasp on being able to write. It's like if you want to be a writer, just to write a book, storybooks and things like that. Well, what's the best thing that you should do to prepare? You should read as many great pieces of literature as you can get your hands on. Read, 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 and then attempt the writing process once you understand you know how that all works out. It should be like breathing to you, I think. But in saying that, you don't have to wait until you're perfect about anything. I mean, you're going to make mistakes until we're going to all make mistakes until the day we die. So I mean, don't wait for perfection, because that's waiting too long. But once you feel confident in understanding how to read patterns, definitely give it a try. And if you want to uh, some help, let me know. I'm actually on a committee with the Crochet Guild of America that helps people do just that. Helping people to get to the point where they can publish their designs in magazines or books or what have you. Yeah, it's called it's not kind of like a mentorship under through the Crochet Guild of America, but I'm always answering people's questions, and I'm happy to do that either under that umbrella or not. I'll be glad to help you where I can on that. Um, Okay, I'm reading this from Rita. It says, Bonnie, you start the headband by crocheting your chain around the elastic band, work the pattern vertically, and then end by attaching your lash row to the other side of the band. Very stretchy. Yeah, my daughter used to make those. I'm just not sure how, I'd have to think about that on making some of those with Celtic designs. Because usually, like when I put those around my hair for a ponytail, I've got to wrap them 2 or 3 times, and it's just really hard to see the design in them at that point. But yeah, I can look into that and see what I can come up with. Don't know that I'll be able to do that anytime soon, but I can definitely add it to the list of my ever growing list of ideas and whatnot. Um, Yeah, Cynthia, going back to the crochet hook thing, don't switch hook mid-project. Could look wonky. Yeah, definitely. Unless it's a part of the instructions where you have to change the size because of the stitching. Yeah, definitely stick with the same brand type of hook. Don't switch in mid. Yeah, don't do that. And Terry Redmond says, have you tried Hobby Lobby hooks? Okay. Okay, I've already read that one. Okay, Hannah sent that one to me. So yes, we talked about that. Um, and Barbie says, my mother held a hook like a pencil. I have tried and cannot do that. Mom's hands were beautiful to watch. Yeah, there are a couple of different ways of holding the crochet hook. And again, whichever way you pick, make sure you pick one that minimizes your hand and wrist motion, because with crochet there's a lot of motion that can be eliminated if you pick the right hook and the right hold. And I do have information on that too on my channel. Also in my book, I think I talk about that. Do I have the beginning book? I've got them all packed up. But I have a beginning book. I think I talk about that too. Ooh, it sounds like Nancy's gonna have fun going on a cruise. Yay. Um, And Sabina says, I cannot easily get the Haya hooks here in Germany, but Clover Soft Touch really suits my hands. Yeah, those are nice hooks too, the Clover hooks. Um, uh, and then Janet likes the Susan Bates as well.
And then Ekstrom is in the chat. Good morning, good evening. Yeah, if you're joining us from Europe, it's good evening. But good morning. Actually, it's good afternoon now here. Once we went live, I guess it's good afternoon. Um, and Nifty says, I just bought a 5.5 millimeter hook. Okay, it's a size I. It's red and says Susan Bates on it. I like the pointy tip. It's a much different hook than what I'm used to, and I love it. Yeah, yeah, it's size I. I use that a lot. I use that on my most recent throw that I completed. I'll have to wait and show that to you in the fall. I still have 1,000,001 strands to hide. It's all one color, but it took 23 balls of yarn. So, and Cynthia says Pink Sheep Designs made a 3D handle with Bates embedded. They're great. Is that rheumatoid arthritis? That's what I'm guessing what the RA is. All right. Wow. Yeah, there are some other folks out there, a lot of people doing that. And I have some like that have, the big hooks with the Susan Bates as being the primary hook. Yeah, they're beautiful. I'm just so particular about just sticking to the basic hook. But I'm glad that you guys can use those and enjoy them so much. And Terry says, I've been very guarded about my joints, I guess joints, since developing tendonitis from wrist to the elbow from crocheting for many decades. Yeah, you got to be careful. You may want to try knitting. Knitting, once you using continental style, is a lot less motion. Of course, the fabric doesn't get created as quickly as in crochet, but it's a nice relaxing thing once you get past the learning curve. And good day to you, Karen. And and Betty says, I usually just lurk due to watching while working. Well, we're so glad you're lurking there, Betty. Um, let me just check the clock. Oh, we're at 1 o'clock already. My goodness. Well, let me see if I can um Oh, thank you, Mary. She says, when you go to the yarn shop in Hagerstown, you are close to a Hobby Lobby. They would have to explain the roads. Ooh, okay. Well, maybe Siri could get me from one to the other, Mary. I did not know that. Thank you so much. Um, and Charlene says, hello, all. Have you ever seen hand dyed yarn in a number 4 weight? I don't like thin yarn. Yes, Charlene, you go to yarn festivals or yarn stores, you'll be able to find that hand-dyed yarn. I'm where I'm going tomorrow, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of it. I just like the thin yarn because I like making things like this, things that I know I'm going to wear and wear often. I love wearing, scarves like this, which can also be worn as a shawl. But I like wearing the scarves, especially when I'm out. Like yesterday, I went for a walk with my son. It was like 50 degrees and overcast, so it was a little chilly out, but it wasn't cold enough to want to put a sweater on. That would make me sweat. So if I just threw a scarf on like this and then put just a light jacket over, and it was perfect because it warmed me up just enough but not overheating me. So they're just, and if you get a little bit warm, you just take it off. You don't have to take off the whole shirt, just take off the scarf. And I just find that much more practical than changing your wardrobe when you're out in public. So it's just a lot easier to throw it on or throw it off depending on what you need. um all right. So let me see if there's anything else on my list here. There's one other thing I wanted to mention, and I'm going to be handing out leaflets or little flyers on this tomorrow at the festival. If you or your local yarn store or your event that you might be hosting or know that's in your area and you need a speaker or a crochet teacher or a beginning knitting teacher, I do beginning knit. I don't do I don't teach the high end stuff, but I love to teach beginning knitting to crocheters to just demystify it because it was such a mystery to me for so many years. And I do have like a 30 to 35-minute song and dance, not dance, but kind of song and story hour kind of a thing that I have done too at conferences. So if you all are looking for a speaker or a teacher, let me know. Contact me, bonniebay@me.com. And depending on how far the traveling is. I may be able to work this in. So just wanted to throw that out there, just to let you know. I did a knitting conference, or a knitting group, a local knitting group. Hired me to be their teacher not long ago, and locally, and I had a blast. I hope they had as much fun as I did. But full day of teaching, but it was fun. The knitters wanted to learn to crochet, and I was more than happy to oblige on that one. So Hannah sending me another question. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Rita. I would love to see a picture. That a picture would really help me, what you're talking about on the headband thing. So let me just make sure there's nobody I've ignored. I'm not trying to ignore anybody. Oh, we have Dawn Yarndall. Welcome to you. I haven't seen you in the chat before. And Carol G, tuning in from Disneyland. Oh my goodness. Hannah and I had a fabulous day in Disneyland back in 2019. Little did we know what was around the corner, um, with 2020 and all. And let's see. And Swati, so good to see you in the chat. Sorry I didn't get to you sooner. You popped in and said hello, and I'm popping in at the end here and saying hey. Um, and thanks, Carol G, for recommending some number 4 weight yarn. Uh, and Debbie says touche. Crochet makes large handle hooks as well as baits or clover or whatever embedded. Yeah. Okay. And Sabina wants to know, where did your passion for crochet start? It started in my childhood watching my neighbor make a giant granny square, like one big granny square covering for her bed. And my best friend in childhood, she's with the Lord now. I miss her so much. Her mom made the most beautiful things for her 3 children, and they would wear them to school, her boy and her 2 girls, and I just fell in love with that. And between my next door neighbor and my best friend's mom, between the 2 of them, I was able to learn how to crochet, and my best friend's mom taught me how to read patterns, and that's where I borrowed my very first crochet patterns from. I just found out recently that she has passed away as well, passed away 2021. It was news to me. Her name was Carolyn Stone. She was a wonderful lady, stay-at-home mom. She took the time with me, and I will be ever in debt to her for that. So yeah, it was in childhood. I couldn't imagine not doing it, even though nobody else was doing it. My age anyway, but I loved doing it back then. Love seeing that. Um, oh, Swati says, today I'm at the hospital with my mom who is having a knee replacement surgery. I know she would appreciate prayers from you all. I will pray for her. Swati, I was praying for you all this morning, in regards to the other medical conditions that you and your mom are dealing with. So I hope that goes well. Um, and okay. Oh, Rita, thank you so much. Let me add that. I'm going to write it down so I'll add it in afterwards. Thank you, Rita, for your kind donation. The next charity that I'm going to be focusing on will be Rancho 3M, which is a children's orphanage and Christian school in Juarez, Texas. I'm sorry, Juarez, Mexico, right on the border there. It's on one of the uh, poorest places I've ever visited and spent time. And yeah, so I've spent time on that compound, and that will be our next focus. So thank you so much, Rita. That's so kind of you. Okay. Wow, Charlene says, I just purchased 100 skeins of yarn from Mary Maxim. Sale was 199 each and free shipping. Ready to do squares for the summer at the pool. Wow, that's great. I know that sounds shocking to some people, but that's really not a lot of yarn. I hate to say, but that's wonderful. That sounds like a really, really good deal. I mean, and it's a great investment if you're going to use it. It sounds like you're going to. So that's enjoy your squares, Charlene. That'll be great. Um, And Ekstrom says, I would appreciate moral support for quitting sewing. I really don't like it and it gives me back pain, but I will be wasting so much linen fabric and it's so hard to find fast fashion that survives. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Wow. Well, I hope you can maybe get a better chair or something. Maybe get a better way to sit that would help you with that. There's got to be a solution somewhere without giving it up. I hope that you can work that one out, my friend. Um, okay. Oh, we have Jeannie in the chat with the Proverbs 31 friend. Blessings to you, Bonnie, and everyone in the chat. I've been here listening and cleaning. I pray you all have a great weekend, Bonnie. Wishing you blessings for tomorrow. Thank you so much. And VM says, I really love the look of the woven soap sack. I'm planning to make that soon. I just bought my beads at Hobby Lobby, just recovered from major hand surgery, and now I have carpal tunnel. Oh, well, take it easy. I will say, VM, that when you're crocheting with the cotton, it's a little more stressful on your hands. So um, it can be harder to crochet with this kind of cotton, is what I'm trying to say. Um, it's not as nice as some of the other more uh, less the other fabrics that have less friction, I guess, when they rub against themselves. But I do wish you the best with that. Um, and Carol, thank you for praying for my daughter with that paper. She can really appreciate that. And yeah, well, let me go ahead and I wanted to finish out um, with a reading this evening or this afternoon, whatever whatever time of day it is. I was reading this morning before going live. I always like to try to prepare. It's a little bit of an unusual reading. I'm going to be reading from the book of Isaiah. I'm reading out of the scriptures, the Holy Bible, um, and this is an ESV version, English Standard Version, if that means anything to anybody. But I have a number of different versions, but and I'm not going to comment. I don't want to comment politically or anything on anything. I don't want to. We don't need any more division in our world. I mean, it's just it's just so challenging right now on so many levels. But I did want to read something from Isaiah, who's a prophet. um, and in this, he's speaking of the future. And this just encourages me. It just tells me that there's going to be a time when all the bad things that we hear about and see are going to be resolved. It's not today, but that day is coming. And this was just really encouraging to me. It's chapter 11, and this is actually in reference to Jesus, and Isaiah wrote this, of course, many years before the birth of Christ. So in a way, it's talking of him, but it takes it even further into the future. Starting with verse 1. There shall come forth a shoot from the stump of Jesse, and a branch from his roots shall bear fruit. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord. And his delight shall be in the fear of the Lord. He shall not judge by what his eyes see, or decide disputes by what his ears hear. But with righteousness he shall judge the poor, and decide with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall strike the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips he shall kill the wicked. Righteousness shall be the belt of his waist, and faithfulness the belt of his loins. The wolf shall dwell with the lamb,
And the leopard shall lie down with the young goat, and the calf and the lion and the fatted calf together, and a little child shall lead them. The cow and the bear shall graze, their young shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. The nursing child shall play over the hole of the cobra, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the adder's den. They shall not hurt or destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. Ah, again, that's not today, but that day is coming. How wonderful. So anyway, I hope that encourages you this week. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you all next week. I hope to be broadcasting from South Carolina. God bless. Bye-bye.